Okay, guys. Okay, guys. You know what I'm gonna do? Sorry, guys. Okay, hold on a second, guys. I don't need this one right now. Maybe these. I'll keep these around. Oh, sorry guys. Hey Dave. Before you ask, I don't live by the coast. I'm in the Central Valley area of California, but my cousin does. So any best wishes would help. Other than that, oh, I'm sorry, Dave. I'm confused already. uh, is this in response to something I had asked or commented on before? I'm kind of confused. You're in the Central Valley. Does this have to do with you and your cousin streaming Neverwinter Nights too? Um, I'm lost. Sorry. I'm all I'm saying is I'm not sure what prompted that. Uh, your initial comment. Hey, Rob Block. Is it Rob Bloxers or Robloxers? I like Rob Bloxers, but Robloxers is my guess. Welcome. And, yeah, sorry guys, I was just caught up in painting. Wasn't paying attention to my chat. Yeah, I thought you lived like was it central northern California? I don't know what the Central Valley is. Is that's like between the coast and the east, or the what do they call it? The Sierra Nevada. Hey, the dude 174. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the hello. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Oh, shoot. Oh, sorry guys. This is Yan. Oh, Yan Schutz from Twitch. Hey, Yan, how are you doing? Sorry, I didn't see that after your initial hello. I should have recognized the dude from um, YouTube. I'm Painting Badlies, or Nick's YouTube channel. It's been a while though. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for stopping through. I'm just doing my thing. Trying to survive working with enamel paints here. As you can see, I don't paint anything like Nick. Which is not a bad thing. I enjoy Nick's stuff. Um, Honestly, I wish I could paint like that. I've tried. It's not as easy as one thinks. It is very difficult. But the thing is, you just stick with it and you get better. He's been doing it for what, 3 years now. Yeah, I've done maybe a couple paintings where it was just done in a session. Working from life, I've only done a few, well, less than a handful of actual plein air paintings, which I guess you could say is working from life. Yeah, most of my stuff is either from my imagination, cobbled together from images, almost collage, and then painted, like this. The central figure on this is my own creation. I did lift these vehicles from the internet. They were CGI rendered isometric images of vehicles. And I was like, I'm not gonna sit here and draw a bunch of cars. I don't want to waste that time. So, in that sense, I'm like the AI. I am the AI. But we'll see if anybody recognizes it. Do I sell originals? I do if somebody's interested. I don't get too many offers. I don't really put it out there though. I don't like go on my Instagram or whatever, say this is available. Usually I just post images of what I'm working on, and I feel if somebody is interested, they'll try to contact me, even though I don't put it out there like, oh, it's for sale. I'm assuming maybe people view that as like I don't want to sell my artwork, but I figure those that take the chance really want the work, and I feel like if you just put it out there like, oh, it's available, somebody just sees it, they might not be what they want. like like what do they want it for, because they like the art, or they just want it because it's like a trophy for them? And in a way, it's, I guess it's all of that for people. I just want to make sure that the work gets a good home, just like somebody um, trying to find a home for their pet. Yeah, I paint kind of like all over the place. Like I'm always trying different things, so it's hard to do like a series of something. It really takes a lot of discipline on my part to do that. Like this, I was thinking about doing a series, but it's like, what else would I say? I'd have to sit down and kind of figure that out. You're a collector for sure. Fascinating. Well, yeah, I mean, if you see anything you like, let me know. I'll let you know if I still have it or not. Yeah, my thing is pricing also. I'm like torn on um, making it affordable, but also like not not selling myself short, because I've done that throughout my life. I still do it, so I don't know. Maybe it's just like screw it, just make paintings and try to get them homes, because I'd rather have them getting a good home with somebody that really cares about art or painting. That's not just gonna, get rid of it right away. Yeah, yeah. I'm on Insta as Minnesota Pop Art. There's the links in my YouTube. So yeah, if you see anything, I also do like digital stuff. Um, I've been doing some digital animations and throwing them up on my Instagram too. Those you can find at. There's also that link. um, You ask for signed papers. See, you want some kind of provenance? That's fine. That, that can also be arranged. The hard part is like stuff like that can be recreated. So once you do something, somebody can get a hold of the information. They can recreate it, and then now they're not saying that they get it from the person that bought the work, but that could be a possibility. And now they're, I don't know. I can create provenance. I'm not too worried about somebody uh, bootlegging my work. Honestly, it's like, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. Uh, yeah, the upsetting part for artists is that somebody makes more money or makes money off of their hard work, and them not seeing anything for it. And when you're a smaller artist, or you're like trying to get your foot in the door, you're mid-career, but you're still small, nobody knows you. That can be disheartening. Oh my god, I think this not matching. Let me tell you, working with enamels is a pain in the freaking butt. This whole painting is not enamel though, just the vehicles. The windshields on the vehicles are latex house paint. The figure in the center, which is Asian mythological beast called a Qilin in Chinese, or a Kirin in Japanese. And if you are familiar, uh, there's a beer out there called Kirin. Or Kirin. That is done in all acrylic paint. The figures here, the figures on the motorcycle, and there's going to be a boy on an ox. Those will be done in oil paints. So I got a mix of paints. Enamels, they're kind of like, I don't know if you're familiar with them. It's kind of like painting with fingernail polish. They kind of dry quick, they dry hard, they have a glossy surface. You can't, you have to paint more graphically, meaning like areas of color, you can't, they're not very good with blending. You pretty much, you have to do, if you're trying to blend, let me see, you kind of got to do this. You have to do like a banding to get gradients, kind of like, glare sucks here. You can see how I had to do that banding to get that roundness. I might have to work on that more just to get that smoother. But that means like when you go to mix, it's real fine color mixing, like, or shade mixing of shades. It's harder than it seems. It's probably easier to do with acrylic paints, but enamels are so, once they start to dry, it's tacky, and it's hard to move the brush over that tacky paint without it kind of gumming up. So you kind of have to let it dry or let it cure. I don't know how all these paints will hold up over time. So I'm trying to keep it where it's spot painted and it's not just like overall. Like I didn't paint all the vehicles and then paint this over that, because I don't know how the acrylic on top of enamels I don't think will hold up very well. Enamels have like very kind of a hard, they dry or cure kind of harder. I don't know what a better word would, for a lack of a better word. Yeah, it's kind of like a hard film or layer. But these being solvent based, or it's an oil based enamel, it can be like working with honey. You've messed with kitchen counter paint, that was wrong. Huh. Not sure. I'm assuming that's enamel that you're talking about, because it comes in, you can get latex enamels, which are water based, but then oil based is a better option as far as durability. Yeah, I kind of like, I don't know, for me being a painter, it's about painting and learning about the materials and figuring out the materials, because I guess I could go look for literature, if there is even any literature out there on using different paints, how they hold up. Because who knows, this is on cotton duct. I don't know how these enamels will hold up over time. They're somewhat flexible. I don't know if this is their final, stage of curing, or if there's more to it. Like if it gets more brittle over time, I'm not sure. Especially like on something more flexible, there's a possibility of maybe some cracking, but it's hard to say. Usually this type of stuff you use on more harder or durable substrate like wood, because I've done some signs in this paint. That's why I have this paint. Is basically it's left over from when I did some sign painting, and so I was like, well, I do stuff on canvas. Let me try it, and this is kind of some of the first experiments with paint on enamels on canvas. I don't know. I may be I may be going too deep into this because the background color, that's acrylic enamel or latex acrylic enamel, which has a different feel to it compared to the oil based. It's hard to see or make that out in on the screen, like through the screen. It's more noticeable in IRL, in real life, in person. You see the different qualities of the different types of paint more. You don't get that through the screen. The screen just flattens everything. I'm assuming you're kind of aware of some of this stuff already, but yeah, I don't know if you have any questions. Just let me know. I'll try to answer them a bit as best I can. Yeah, right now I'm just trying to finish works that I have started over the years that I've kind of like left to the wayside as I move along and experiment with stuff, paints, paintings in that sense. Yeah, I think I posted a work on Nick's on his Discord. It was a painting I did that utilized different types of materials, and I think I labeled it or posted like this is not what to do. I think was the tag. It was basically a painting that was falling apart. It was also an experiment with utilizing different materials, and it literally is falling apart, but it was stabilized in a way because of my use of collage underneath all the paint and stuff, newspapers and stuff, kind of held it all together. But the newspaper will eventually go brittle too, and everything will just start to fall off of it. Yeah, that was like a mix of spray paint on wood, then I collaged newspaper all over that, and then I painted. Oh wait, no, before the newspaper, was it? Nope, it was the newspaper. Then I used this crackling medium, which was acrylic base. After that, I did a layer of oil, painted as imaginary scene in oil, kind of like a landscape. On top of that, over time, it's that acrylic layer broke apart because it was you're supposed to paint on top of it with acrylics and it would create a crackle look, but I didn't do that. I just painted oil on top of it. So that layer was pretty thick, cracked itself into pieces, but it was held together by the collage newspaper, which created curls and stuff like that. Yeah, you get plenty of paintings of not what to do or what not to do. That's the fun thing with painting. I mean, that's what keeps you kind of going is like, um, is seeing what it can do. I mean, yeah, you could stick with one type of paint and master that paint, but over the years I've used all kinds of paint, and so I want to incorporate that into my process. And yep, that's what I enjoy doing. Um, my lines are sucking, but that's okay. It's not too bad. Let's see. So, Jan, do you have what? Do you have? I'm assuming you have Instagram. Is that a Japanese inspired dragon? Actually, okay. Here, let me pick this up. It's not a dragon, but it's dragon-like. Uh, a Qilin, which is Chinese. I'm not sure if it's Mandarin or Cantonese or both. Qilin. I think that's where it originated, was in China, and then the Japanese kind of adopted it, and it's called in Japanese a Kirin, Kirin, just like the beer. It is more of a, it's more of a deer-like creature, but it does have scales and hair, fur, and it's kind of looks a little bit like a dragon because of the scales, but it's more of a deer creature. This one, I'm not sure if a single horn or if it has a dual, like a regular rack, but I gave it like a single horn. Yeah, it's kind of like a it does have like some supernatural abilities. It's able to fly. You know, it has the spirit fire, like you see in uh, Asian Asian art. What else? It's kind of a, oh, what's the word? God, I can't think of it. Yeah, but I gave it kind of a mane, almost like a lion's mane, which dragons kind of have too. Sometimes you see in Asian images. But I did some. I drew up the image. I took it into my iPad, and then I started stretching it in the program. So I kind of like that. If I do a series, I would like to maybe do one that's like, so this is 3 foot or 36 by 48 inches. Maybe do like a 6 foot by 48 or maybe even longer, and really stretch it out or do something like really distort it. I don't know. It's kind of a thing that I like to do in the digital apps is take the images and just that I draw up or whatever and then distort them even more. Yep, it has like resembling a deer with scales like a dragon covering its body. Yep, is a chimerical beast. Yeah, dragons are like that too, because dragons are kind of made up of other or draw from. I don't think they're literally made up. It's even though it's a mythological imaginary beast. They draw from some of the other animals in the Asian zodiac. Yeah. I have some other paintings I've started that I have done dragons. I don't know. Maybe they look too much like the stuff you see in Asian art. Um, that's where taking it and distorting it. That also comes from like anime when they do the animations, like individual cells to give the illusion of some of the movement and stuff. They distort the images. And so that's kind of where I draw that from too. If you sell this one, you want the first shot? Yeah, once I finish it. I know some people have expressed um, interest in like prints, but yeah, I haven't had anybody outright say, "Oh, I would love to buy that." Yeah, we can see. Um, I'd probably sit on it for a little bit before I do let go of it, just to kind of um, make sure I get a good reproduction made of it as far as like picture image, because if I do prints and I let it go too soon, and I've had that happen, I don't always have the best image to make reproductions from, so I don't usually make reproductions. But yeah, I am not opposed to letting any of these go. This I would say if I were to do a series would be like um, the prototype, and then I would just make a series. I wouldn't say I would include this as the series just because it's almost one of a kind, and then I would do the series because I would have to create the series images and then paint them all. Whereas this is like I already did that. I created the image and I'm painting it. It's a one of a kind. It wouldn't be a part of the series. Because I would take whatever I did in this and then expound on that in the other works. This is like, okay, let me see what I can gain from this. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, it's not bad. It's not badly painted. It's worsely painted. This will be fun though. Doing the figures. I know they're kind of small, but doing the figures in oil. Yeah, you can see the glare off of the enamel paint. You don't really get that off the acrylic as much. There's some, depending on the paint color hue that I use, but most of it comes off as flat, especially like these yellows, ochre. I think that orangish reddish color is actually a oh, what the I always forget the word for the colors. the stuff they use on the streets and in the roads to mark things. God, why can't I? It's not it's not iridescent. It's not. It's like that glow, like, oh man, that glow type colors. Oh, why can't I think of the word? But yeah, and that being that type of paint, who knows if how that would hold up over time. Yeah, I always forget the name of the. I don't think I have any of them around me right now. But yeah, I think as long as it's not like in direct sunlight, the paints will hold up. God, it's like right there on the tip of my tongue. And I keep thinking translucent, and that's not even nowhere near the word that I'm thinking of. But yeah, all that's acrylic paint. This is the Spirit Flame stuff. That is interference acrylic paint. So this is painted on very thickly over top the image. I was thinking of using some gold. I have some Montana metallic, yeah, fluorescent. I always forget that. Thank you. Fluorescent paint, yeah. And I know that is very, those paints are kind of roguish, but like, I don't know. I liked it. I liked it in this. Yeah, so I was killing you. So I love when that happens. You're just like, I can't let it go. I have to let it go. If I don't let it go, then it won't come to me. But you can't, it's hard to let it go. It's like if I just let it go, it'll come. Um, yeah, the road will get lightened up probably, uh, but there'll be cast shadows, and then there'll be uh, road lines. So I'm still trying to figure out if I'm going with white or like that yellow um, for the road lines. And it would be kind of cool to get that type of paint because it has like a certain reflectiveness to it if the light hits it right. And adding that in there. I was thinking of maybe some exhaust, a little bit exhaust, like not too defined, but like I have to have them leave a message. Yeah, the road will get lightened a little bit. Vehicles will cast shadows, so there'll still be some of that dark color. Um, Not sure if I should make that because I could stipple different, like to kind of give it more of an aggregate look, like some cement, but I don't know if I'm putting too much into it by creating another type of pattern. It's kind of why I was like this piece is that has the the figure here, the Qilin has all this texture patterning to it where everything else is kind of flat. Like the windows are, still kind of flat looking. I wanted to set the figure off from the background. Um, and then if I do the road kind of aggregate like almost small little stipples of different slightly different values or hues. Might be another pattern to set, something to set off the vehicles from. I don't know. Going to lurk a while. My lunch break is over. You'll be my web coworker. Okay. Thanks, Jan. Yeah, this is my last day of my 3-day weekend. Then I go back to my regular day job, and then I paint here and there. But yeah, the next 3 days I probably won't be doing too much painting. We'll see, because I work seven to 7, so 12-hour shifts for the next 3 days. If I do get a hankering late at night after my wife and I do dinner, I might do like an hour or hour and a half sessions. Sometimes I get lucky and do a 2-hour session after a 12-hour shift. But yeah, the next actual real session will probably be on Sunday. But I play it by ear on work days. But yeah, you have a good one. Thank you, Jan, for hanging, listening to me ramble about painting what I'm doing. And yeah, thanks. Thank you. I don't get too many people asking questions about the work, what I'm doing, the materials, anything. So it's nice to be able to talk about it. Sometimes I'll just start talking about it. Okay, so I'm going back to the sign. Oh yeah, and enjoy the rest of your day. I know Nick has canceled his painting session for Wednesday. So there won't be a whole lot going on. I'm sure there'll be somebody else. I know I'll end probably in the next couple of hours to do lunch, and then maybe hopefully another painting session. I usually try to live stream these just for my own documentation purposes. Ooh, did I almost match that? Can't tell. Not. Yeah, my black paint is already like got a dried film coating over it. That's another thing with the enamels, they do come dry quicker than you'd like. But if you're used to using acrylics, you can get over that. Yeah, that was way too light. This is definitely lighter than what I already have down. Slight amount. But if it dries darker, thank you, Jan. I appreciate it. I try. I don't know if sometimes I focus too much on the subject matter. I guess you can say I've been more of a image-based, I don't know if it's content-based painter. But I do like some kind of unity between all of it. I feel like there should have been a wheel well somewhere. I'm not sure where they. Okay, that was a weird noise. Oh, she's incredible. He sent a DM on Instagram, FYI, just so you know. Oh, yeah. I'll go, I will go, if I can find, oh, I forgot. Not on this phone, I won't have it. Come on, Insta. Oh, no, that's I see what I was want. Okay. Am I already following you? Can't remember. Oh yeah, I am already following you. I think that was through Nick's profile. I think I saw, I don't know if you were tagged or what, and then I just started following you. That's cool. You got the I was spacing his name. The Einstein picture. At first I was like, Jan painted that? That's pretty good. Now I was like, wait a second, I think I've seen that before. I know that was Nick's. And then I read the caption. Which is Mozart. Oh wait. Why was Mozart mentioned? Oh, because you put that in the background. Yes. I'm just having my turntable. Can't say if I had this. Maybe on CD. Well, could have been CD. Yeah. There are quite a few classical composers, as well as all kinds of other types of music. And I love just putting on records and listening and painting. This was back in my 20s. Then you're having to move to different places. I didn't have space for turntables I had, so I just left them with a friend of mine who still actually has them, and he uses them all the time. So I'm like, dude, you've had them for this many years. They are yours. There's no way I'm. Even though I might have the room, I still don't have the room. Used to do a little bit of DJing back in my time. You've been wanting that for months. It was his favorite, like he wasn't gonna let go of it. I'm assuming you added the frame, or did it come like that? Oh yeah, sometimes the frames are more expensive than the paintings. I follow another guy on YouTube that oil paints. Somebody gifted him a painting. Well, it was more of a print, but it had this frame on it that looked super expensive. Yeah, the frame definitely looked like it was worth more than the print that was in it. Okay, let's next. Now I have it. I just have it sitting on that, listening to this piece, this Mozart piece, just looping. More interesting than some of the stuff I'm listening to on YouTube. I should just go find the music. Oh crap. Yep, that's where you put putting your finger in. okay? Ah, jeez. Did it again. Okay, let's do that. Let's get the outline. I don't know. Oh yeah, that was still the one you liked. That was still the early stage before I did the windshields. What? Oh shoot, wrong one. Gosh dang. Wait, is that the right one? listen to another episode of Scorned by Muses from the Yearbook Committee YouTube channel.
Episode 11, Scorned by Muses. The Ready Made.
Ready made. So ready made.
In 1917, Marcel Duchamp purchased a urinal and presented it as his submission into the inaugural exhibition of the Society of Independent Artists in New York City. Duchamp justified this move by saying that everyday objects are raised to the dignity of a work of art by the artist's act of choice. It was shocking at the time, and the work was rejected by the exhibition committee. How could a toilet be a work of art? Yet Duchamp's insistence on the validity of his urinal as an artwork had a major impact on the history of art and ushered in the era of the ready-made. More than 100 years later, the ready-made has lost its ability to shop. Yet artists today are still using the ready-made as a way to signal on-art practice, even if what that means is unclear. We're going to go have a look at a few galleries in New York where contemporary artists are employing the first stop is Gallery Postmark at 136 Orchard Street. The artists Tobias Hahn and Stanley Taylor have arranged a series of children's toys in a black windowless room. These toys constitute a mini marketplace. And at the back is a great big tent adorned in bright colors that recalls a bouncy castle at a backyard birthday party. Whispering through the gap in the polyester flaps is the promise of untold joy. If I had to guess, I would say that Hahn and Taylor are trying to draw attention to the ways in which we indoctrinate children into a consumerist capitalist ideology. The absurdity of the artificial commodities, the plastic fruits, and the meat cows displaying adult words like logistics is supposed to cause us to reflect on the degree to which our children, from the time they can hardly walk, are brainwashed into worshiping the marketplace. This isn't a particularly novel insight, and it seems one-sidedly anti-capitalist in a potentially conservative way. But what about these pieces on the wall? Are they paintings, sculptures, a thick block of spray-painted foam into which the artists have carved a progressively narrow cavity that terminates with a small pane of glass under which is an obscure image, and in which one can see themselves reflected? There are 5 such pieces named Overton windows, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, in Roman numerals. The term Overton window is one used by political scientists to describe the range of subjects and arguments that are politically acceptable to the mainstream population at any given time. Hahn and Taylor's windows seem to be shrinking, receding ever deeper into a black void. The acceptable range of political discourse has us stuck in a false world of the market, which promises a bounty of fruits, but where in actual fact the apples are made of plastic. The blackness of the windowless room does create a foreboding sense of claustrophobia. Perhaps even a well-furnished dungeon. The bright colors and shiny surfaces distract just long enough for the predator to strike. The innocent folly of children and their trust in authority serve as a metaphor for our own daily rape by the systems of power. Thus Hahn and Taylor present us with a dark and pessimistic vision. There's also a video projection of long stretches of black, punctuated by a few brief seconds of action. Perhaps it's the flash of insight that might allow us to escape this country. Anyway, let's leave this cold and gloomy basement and head to another one. At DeRoja we have this, a bunch of junk pulled from Grandpa's shed. The junk is an installation which the artist George Edgerton Warburton has dubbed Skittles. There seems to be some kind of narrative here of New England working class life. What is it all meant to do with Skittles? Who knows? These Uniqlo garments with the stickers still attached gross me out because they look like they've been worn and the wearer just never bothered to remove the tag. Could this all be another toothless critique of capitalism? Edgerton Warburton doesn't give us much to go on. The installation is calculatedly detached, with a vaguely Lynchian vibe. It made me think of the wood chipper scene from that Coen Brothers movie Fargo. The materials list includes a few things not immediately noticeable to the eye. Checkbook, vitamin B, vitamin C, acetaminophen, a copy of book, antique wooden sailor figurine, wallet. Presumably these are all things which the artist rammed through the wood chipper. There's also a text, and as regular viewers know by now, I hate it when exhibitions make me read. The text is better and more interesting than the arrangement of found objects, but it's also a bit contrived. First of all, it's signed anonymous. Why bother signing the letters anonymous? Just don't put a name. Either way, we know it's the artist who wrote this, unless he expects us to believe that the note was found too. Maybe it is, but it's way too indebted to Deleuze's idea of desirable machines and Lacan's objet petit a for me to believe that someone without an NFA wrote this. I am subject to the lack which I desire, the note says. My signification is mulching, iterating through the great middle. It should be obvious by now that what I desire does not exist, so I am always in servitude to a shifting season. By mulching and rendering things out of existence, I achieve what I desire sooner, which is why we have this expansive middle that has been built up. The ready-mades here, as in so many installations of this kind, serve as knitting within illustrations of text. The radicality of Duchamp's original gesture is now gone. The challenge which Duchamp posed to art with his ready-mades has been neutered. Yet the formal language of the ready-made has been incorporated in a superficial way that enables a professional middle-class career in which MFA students can peddle their postmodern ideas. On my way out of the gallery, this SpongeBob painting caught my eye. I came to see the Edgerton Warburton exhibition, but I found myself unexpectedly pulled in by the works of Sophie Gogol in the adjoining gallery. Her simple but effective technique of flipping scenes upside down, or of rearranging points in an M.C. Escher-style funhouse, poignantly expresses contemporary disorientation and despair. I won't linger on these too long, but I thought this was pretty good. We have a bunch of machinery and electronics assembled in seemingly arbitrary ways. Upon closer inspection, the machinery seems to be doing something. It's moving, and the digits on the LED information panels tick up and down, measuring something that remains obscure. All this activity seems to have some purpose. In one way, it points to the opacity of technology. Which surrounds us does not really reveal what it's doing. Yet here, the fact that the apparatus has no purpose may be the point. It is not necessarily the case that the apparatus is performing a function which we can't discern. Rather, it may be that it doesn't have a function in the traditional sense. And it is precisely this functionlessness which makes it art.
Ooh, I really love this new brush.
In the critique of judgment, Kant lays out an idea which he calls purposiveness. And it It's a funny category. It basically means purpose-like, or seeming to have a purpose. It's an idea of potential purpose, which is not connected to a determinate purpose. For most everyday objects we encounter, the purpose is clear. And the reason that the purpose of most objects we encounter is clear is because we have a concept for those objects, which is already given to us by society. And that concept tells us something about the object's purpose. The purpose of a chair is for us to sit in. The purpose of a cup is to hold water, and so on. Kant says, where the concept of an object is given, the function of judgment and its employment of that concept for cognition consists in presentation, i.e. in placing beside the concept of intuition corresponding to it. In other
You
words,
have
we
extras
the
and it's
concept of
free.
a chair floating around in our heads. So when we encounter an object in the world that seems to correspond
Oh, you have a
to
mall
that
stick.
concept, we exercise our faculty of judgment to say that this object is a chair because it corresponds with the concept
Maybe.
we have for a chair.
I know I had like a makeshift.
When it comes to art and other
Thing.
aesthetic objects, however, the purpose is not so clear. These objects
Yeah, I was kind
appear
of
to have
using as a
they give us a sense
kind of
the
surrogate
purpose.
mall stick.
Yet we don't always have a ready-made concept into which we can fit our intuitive
And I was
experience
thinking
of
about
the object,
trying to find it
and
the
thus
other
we
day.
can't determine its purpose. So we must give them a purpose.
Should I
And
say
its purpose is
sure?
something we
Because
give freely. It is not something
my
already
indecisive
determined.
mind
It's something
is like,
and in exercising our faculty of aesthetic judgment, our capacity for meaning-making itself is revealed. What in pre-modern society had been the domain of God
and
is now
so basically I either use my pinky if I can, or I don't
Yet,
use anything
unfortunately,
at all.
Jameson undermines this transcendental potential
But
by
I have
ascribing a
used
determinate purpose to his
the surrogate.
seemingly purposeless apparatus. He, like so many other artists, ruins the aesthetic effect of his own art by describing it.
You have
first in
extras?
text
Oh,
which
okay.
accompanies the
Yeah.
exhibition. The purpose here is
Don't feel obligated to though.
which is a strategy of art making that grew out of the 1960s neo-avant-garde. Yet, ironically, it relies on the very institutions which
If you're just gonna send that,
in order
that
to
I don't
legitimize
know,
it.
seems like a waste.
So its critique, in fact, just serves to reinforce the institution. The
That
art theorist Greg Horowitz,
that
who
that I don't
interviewed
appreciate
for a
it.
forthcoming
I
documentary,
say a waste in that.
summarized the movement nicely.
Looked like institutional critique must have had
You spending your money
artists
just
who
to send
practiced
this thing.
institutional must have had their eye on other sites, other areas, other practices of art making. They must have.
The question is, would I use it? No big deal. I send next
And
stuff.
I'm not sure they did. I think that
I mean, I would probably use it.
the aim was to make meaning in
Probably.
that would require the spaces of art to open up to them. Right? So what they
Guess it
wanted was
depends on
access.
what kind of paint I'm
It
using.
looked
So
like
if
what
I'm
they
using
wanted was
acrylic
an
or
alternative.
like this
What they wanted was access.
with enamels, I
They had
probably
the
wouldn't
money
use a mall
economic
stick.
thanks to your generation.
But yeah, with foils, I probably would.
What at the time seemed very challenging radical practices. And your generation, I could say,
How big is
I
it?
can make art.
That would be my next question. How big is the length of the stick?
Right, you understand
Art.
what they were up to better than they did. They found another form of art making. That was their achievement.
Hey,
So
Hearts
what is the
Dragon,
nature
welcome
then
to
of
the
Jameson's
channel.
critique?
Thank you very much.
I'll
Let me
read a
go
bit of the
measure.
exhibition's accompanying text. For class weight, I began by posing a question to the gallery stakeholders. Does the institution's database allow for the tracking of the weight of artworks? The answer was no. The gallery uses a popular third-party inventory software called ArtMold. I further asked whether it would be possible to simply add a category for weight
Thank you for joining.
to the work's main entry.
You love the painting?
The answer
Thanks, Hearts
again
Dragon.
was no.
I appreciate that.
The lack of
We're
data concerning an artwork's
we're still
weight
plugging
is
away
surprising,
on it.
as weight is
I'm
one
not
of the
sure
key
how
considerations in
much
transport. I believe
time
that there are two different uses of the term
is
transport concerning an art gallery's interface with the
is
property they tender,
left
one literal and the other
as far
abstract
as
or
like
figurative. One definition relates directly
put
to
into this word.
artworks might included are matter of
I was
fact
saying
efficient
probably
examples of
another
the
month,
circulation
but it could be
of
sooner
capital.
than
In
that.
this relation to transport,
I just like to give
the
myself
work's weight is rarely accounted for.
more
When it
more
comes to the
time than I
mobility
think
of
I need.
objects, however, one often finds data about an object's heft. In the shipping section of an ArtLogic entry, there are fields for a work's weight as well as packed weight. So I thought you said that the software that they're using doesn't actually contain a section for weight. Now you're just saying that there is. That what? This doesn't make any sense. Anyway, it is a functional aspect of categorization that marries weight specifically to an object's potential movement. The distinct uses of these definitions of transport are not unrelated.
How long have you been working on this already, if you don't mind me asking?
From the actual weight of the
So, hold on a
product
second.
produced. Okay.
I'll pause it. I'm not talking over it. So, initially, I thought I had started this back in 2019, like when I originally developed the image I was going to paint. So I did a bunch of drawings, like both traditional drawings and also digital drawings. So I did just some, start off by doing some thumbnail sketches. Then I think I went into my iPad and started working out the figure in this, which is the Qilin, or Qilin in Chinese. And yeah, I got that all worked out in my iPad. Then I created the background with all the vehicles on there too. And then I got my canvas and I got paper, and I covered the canvas with the paper, and then I drew out the image based on what I had put together on my iPad. So I drew all that out from the image. I didn't do I'm terrible with projectors, so I just eyeballed it all out. I did use a grid. I think I used a grid method, so that helped a little bit. But yeah, I'm terrible at using projectors. I hate projectors, and I say that in the sense that I can't use it correctly. I always stand in the way, and I can't ever see the lines that I'm trying to trace. So I was like, screw that. I'll just do it old school method, or one of the old school methods. And so I got all that laid out on the paper, sketched out how I wanted it. Then I got tracing paper. Then I traced the image off the paper, and then I transferred it to the canvas, which is a process. If I'm doing something that this highly detailed, that's how I'm going to paint it. So I always do some working drawings. 45 inches. Oh, I wouldn't cut that off at all. Same with, yeah, I that's kind of how I've always done my drawings, is the grid method. I know some people think it takes too long, and compared to setting up a projector and then just lighting it up and tracing, yeah, it does seem to be a long process to do it the grid method, but I still do it the grid method way because I am actually using my brain. Whereas I feel with projector, all you're doing is following the lines if you can find them. And with the grid method, you're at least using your brain in the sense that you're measuring off stuff via the grid to make sure, you know, you have all your proportions and everything kind of look correct. But you know, to each their own. If somebody wants to use they might not think it's all that important. I think people that use projectors just want to get the job done fast, and that makes sense. I mean, if you're doing a project and you bid it out, you're going to try and get it done as quickly as you can, so you're not wasting money. But I'm hard-headed and I still grid stuff out. If I do a big old mural, if it's not too large, I will still kind of grid off some stuff and do it that way. But instead of drawing it in, it's like sketching it in with a pencil, I'll just paint it in, because it's like, why sketch it if I'm just going to paint it? So why wouldn't I just use paint to sketch it all in? Now on stuff like this, a little bit smaller, I might go either way. I might pencil it in and then paint it, or I might use a fine brush like I have here and just sketch it in with the brush. Depends on what I'm trying to do, I guess. That might have been more information than you wanted. I'm that person that gives you way more information than you probably were expecting. I guess it's kind of the opposite at my day job, where I work at an information desk and it's a hospital, and so I try to give people as little information but as exact or precise or compact as I can, because when you're at the hospital and you're trying to find somebody, you're not trying to sit there and you're not going to remember all the instructions I give you as far as like directions and stuff. So to make it as simple and concise as you possibly can, and the least amount of words, at least hopefully that sticks. Alright, what time we got? 1:48. Not sure when my wife wants to do. Let me go check with her first. I'll be right back, guys. Yep, I love these little teeny brushes. I just picked this one up and this one. They're both riggers or liner brushes. This one was, they said, for watercolor, so yeah, it's a little too giving and not resistant enough. But if I do something larger, way larger than this would make sense. This one's perfect for this. This is a script liner, is what they described it as. Princeton brush 10/0, and it's, so far it's working great. I'm sure it won't be long before it's trash. Picked it up at Michael's. We don't have that many art supply stores here where I live, and you pretty much have to order stuff offline or online. Not too many brick and mortars anymore, but Michael's is available, so if I need something, right away I'll go there and see if they have it, but I don't think they have the best stuff. it's okay. But I mean, this works. I mean, Princeton's a decent brand. I know I've had Princeton brushes in the past, way past. But hold on a second, guys. be a good thing. Okay. Hey, the glitch. How are you doing today? Welcome. Hello, what's going on? I was painting, then I stopped to go check to see what my wife wanted to do for lunch. So I just put, well, I haven't quite put it in the oven yet. Just waiting for it to heat up. But back to painting. Let's see. Man, I can't believe my black already dried up. The darn paint drying up on me. Welcome to the channel, The Glitch. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing well, having a great day. Let's see. That is way too dark. How is that? Yep, this is getting lightened up too. That is way too dark, I'm thinking. Way too dark. little darker. A little darker. Okay. There's the neighbor doggy. Alright, I think we got that. Right back to
Your distinctions that you're trying to draw. I think. Okay. So one definition relates directly to capital artworks might include, or matter of fact, efficient instruments of the circulation of capital. In this relation to, okay. So I guess you're trying to draw this distinction. I guess you're trying to draw this distinction between use value and exchange value, the way that Marx would talk about it, although you're doing it in this kind of obscure way, which I'm sure is received through some diluted form of postmodern theory, and you may not even realize you're referencing Marx. Maybe, or I don't know, tell me in the comments what you think. Despite the ancient promotion, the thing that artworks do more often than not is rest on walls, on grounds, and in storage spaces. What is vertical and what is horizontal is typically representative of the transport of perceived value. What the hell does that sentence mean? Weight itself is usually omitted or specific only to the object's relative proximity to another location. As sculptures become images that exist on servers, what we also find obscure is the energy expended to serve us this information. What is the weight of all of these hyper images? What the hell is a hyper image? You could have just said images. That's just like some buzzword to throw in there. I guess it's probably like poetry artist guy that we're trying to reference that was smart. You can justify the $200,000 to take people on the site. What the hell is a hyper image? You could have just said images, maybe digital images. People know what digital images are. Nobody knows what the fuck a hyper image is unless. Yeah. In class weight, there is a lot of movement, or pointing to movement. There are scales, there are the humming ghosts of transport that act as infrastructure for the transportation of capital itself. Maintaining the works and their movement remains vital. A maintenance manual is available as ephemera for visitors. In a unique kinetic dance, certain objects in class weight pay homage to absent and therefore weightless 2D works. These invisible pictures are staged at an ideal viewing height by the movement up and down of shelf sculptures cycling through more or less renowned art collections, such as the Gurlitt collection, partially looted by Hildebrand Gurlitt, one of Hitler and Goring's primary art dealers, or a group of student faculty works housed in the Jacob Arts collection at the University of Washington in Seattle, the ownership status of which remains unclear. I have no clue what the fuck he's going on about in that last paragraph. I honestly don't know why people put up with this shit. We just need to stop letting people get MFAs. Anyway, I'm too tired to keep talking about this. Let me know what you think about the comments or whatever.
It buzzes, beeps, or charges while you sleep. It has rechargeable batteries that can't be pulled out of the curb.
Nope. Why would you go from episode 11 to episode 16? I think I missed a bunch here. Alright, sorry guys, I'm gonna go back. Where he's talking about.
The challenge which Duchamp posed to art with his ready-mades has been neutered. Yet the formal language of the ready-made has been incorporated in a superficial way that enables a professional middle-class career in which MFA students can peddle their postmodern ideas. On my way out of the gallery this SpongeBob I came to see the Edgerton Warburg exhibition, but I found myself unexpectedly pulled in by the works of Sophie Gogol in the Edgerton gallery. Her simple but effective technique of flipping scenes upside down, or of rearranging elements in an M.C. Escher-style funhouse, poignantly expresses contemporary disorientation and despair. I won't linger on these too long, but I thought this was pretty good. The artist Clint Jameson employs the ready-made slightly differently. We have a bunch of machinery and electronics assembled in seemingly arbitrary ways. Upon closer inspection, the machinery seems to be doing something. It's moving, and the digits on the LED information pins tick up and down, measuring something that remains obscure. All this activity seems to be to no evident purpose. In one way, it points to the opacity of technology. In contemporary life, the complex technical apparatus which surrounds us does not always reveal what it's doing. Even though the fact that the apparatus has no purpose being the point, it is not necessarily the case that the apparatus is performing a function which we can't discern. Rather, it may be that it doesn't have a function in the traditional sense. And it is precisely this functionlessness which makes it art. In the critique of judgment, Kant lays out an idea which he calls purposiveness. And it's a funny category. It basically means purpose-like, or seeming to have a purpose. It's an idea of a potential purpose which is not connected to a determinate purpose. For most everyday objects we encounter, the purpose is clear. And the reason that the purpose of most objects we encounter is clear is because we have a concept for those objects which is already given to us by society. And that concept tells us something about the object's purpose. The purpose of a chair is for us to sit in. The purpose of a cup is to hold water, and so on. Kant says, where the concept of an object is given, the function of judgment and its employment of that concept for cognition consists in presentation, i.e. in placing beside the concept of intuition corresponding to it. In other words, we have the concept chair floating around our heads. So when we encounter an object in the world that seems to correspond to that concept, we exercise our faculty of judgment to say that this object is a chair because it corresponds to the concept we have. When it comes to art and other aesthetic objects, however, the purpose is not so clear. These objects appear to have a purpose. They give us a sense of purposiveness. Yet we don't always have a ready-made concept into which we can fit our intuitive experience of the object, and thus we can't determine its purpose. So we must give them a purpose, and its purpose is something we give it freely. It is not something already determined, but something open-ended, and in exercising our faculty of aesthetic judgment, our capacity for meaning making itself is revealed.
Hey, Orphe
What
Polanco,
in
how are you doing
pre-modern
today?
society had been the domain of
Thank you
God
for joining
is now
us.
the domain of man.
Hope you're doing well.
Yet, unfortunately, Jameson undermines this transcendental potential by ascribing for us a determinate purpose to his seemingly purposeless apparatus. He, like so many other artists, ruins the aesthetic effect of his own work by describing it for us in the text which accompanies the exhibition. The purpose here is institutional critique, which is a strategy of art making that grew out of the 1860s neo avant-garde. Yet, ironically, it relies on the very institutions that it criticizes in order to legitimize itself. So, its critique, in fact, just serves to reinforce the institution. The art theorist Greg Horowitz, who I interviewed for a forthcoming documentary, summarized the movement nicely.
Look like institutional critique must have been artists who practiced institutional critique must have had their eye on other sites, other environments, other practices of art making. They must have, because it's not critique.
Okay, we got that.
I don't actually think they did.
I think it was front hood. Front.
The aim was to make meaning in a way that would
It's looking a little too dark.
the space to open up to them. Right. So what they wanted was access. It looked like what they wanted was an alternative. What they wanted was access. And they have done that. And they got it thanks to your generation, which now looks at what at the time seemed very challenging radical practices. And your generation can say, I can let go. I want to say, this is very hard to say, but you understand that. Right? You understand what they were up to.
Oops. I don't think you guys can see that
And
anymore.
they found another form of it. That was their agenda.
So what is the nature then of Jameson's critique? I'll read a bit from the exhibition's accompanying text. For class weight, I began by posing a question to the gallery stakeholders. Does the institution's database allow for the tracking of the weight of artworks? The answer was no. The gallery uses a popular third-party inventory software called ArtMark. I further asked whether it would be possible to simply add a category for weight to each of the work's main entry. The answer again was no. The lack of data concerning an artwork's weight is surprising, as weight is one of the key considerations in air transport. I believe that there are two different uses of internal transport concerning an art gallery's interface with the property intended, one literal and the other abstract or figurative. One definition relates directly to capital. Artworks, mine included, are matter-of-fact, efficient instruments of the circulation of capital. In this relation to transport, the category of the work's weight is rarely accounted for. When it comes to the mobility of objects, one often finds data about the work's depth. In the shipping section of our project entry, there are fields for a work's weight as well as packed weight. I thought you said that the software that they're using doesn't actually contain a section for weight. Now you're just saying that there is that this doesn't make any sense. It is a functional aspect of categorization that marries weight specifically to an object's potential movement. The distinct uses of these definitions of transport are not unrelated, although this exhibition endeavors to distinguish the abstraction of the former from the actual weight of the property artists produce. Okay, your distinctions that you're trying to draw here between these two definitions isn't totally clear. I think let me look back here. Say one definition is include our matter-of-fact efficient instruments in the circulation of capital. In this relation to, okay, so I guess you're trying to draw this distinction. I guess you're trying to draw this distinction between use value and exchange value in the way that Marx would talk about it, although you're doing it in this kind of obscure way, which I'm sure is received through some diluted form of postmodern theory. You may not even realize their penchant for motion, the thing that artworks do more often than not is rest on walls, grounds, and storage spaces. What is vertical, what is horizontal, what the hell does that sentence mean? Weight itself is usually omitted or specific only to the object's relative proximity to another location. As sculptures become images that exist on servers, what we also find obscured is the energy expended to service this information. What is the weight of all of these hyper-images? What the hell is a hyper-image? You could have just said images. That's just like some buzzword. I guess it's probably like Baudrillard or some guy that you're trying to reference so that you seem smart. You can justify the $200,000 you paid to get your MFA. What the hell is a hyper-image? You could have just said images, maybe digital images. People know what digital images are. Nobody knows what the fuck a hyper-image is unless... Yeah. In class weight, there is a lot of movement, or pointing to movement. There are scales, there are the humming ghosts of transport that act as infrastructure for the transportation of capital itself. Maintaining the works and their movement remains vital. A maintenance manual is available as ephemera for visitors. In a unique kinetic dance, certain objects in class weight pay homage to absent and therefore weightless to works. These invisible pictures are staged at an ideal viewing height by the movement up and down of shelf sculptures cycling through more or less renowned art collections, such as the Gurlitt collection, partially looted by Hildebrand Gurlitt, one of Hitler and Göring's primary art dealers, or a group of student and faculty works housed in the Jacob Lawrence collection at the University of Washington in Seattle, the ownership status of which remains unclear. I have no clue what the fuck he's going on about in that last paragraph. I honestly don't know why people put up with this shit. We just need to stop letting people get MFAs. Anyway, I'm too tired to keep talking about this. Let me know what you think in the comments or whatever.
Whew. Damn. Oh, it's cold air. It's not hot out there. It's cold air.
Right, if you had to choose, would you watch Castro or
Okay, hold on. It went straight to 16.
Justin Martin's hours, breaks, overtime, and time off automatically?
Welcome to episode 16.
No, we want episode 12. Which I think I already.
Welcome to episode 12 of Scorned by Muses. I'm modernism. I recently noticed a bunch of my friends were sharing this snippet on Instagram. And it kind of excited me, but not for the reasons that you had. So we decided to head to Beta Gallery in Tribeca to see the painting for ourselves. Okay, please cellar doors. No, I think I skimmed it online. But yeah. I mean, I thought this painting was crazy. Yeah. That was my I didn't think it was a diptych. I thought, oh, you thought it was a diptych? No, I thought it was fun. I mean, for me, I was like, this was like the, beginning and end of modernism. It's like, you know, Courbet's Lord and Dumont and like the burnett-hanssen zip censoring your view of the yeah, I did read that. I guess I think I did read this.
The woman here is curator Qilin It, and she was really insistent on a certain way in which the show should be read. She wanted to talk to me about how this body of work from Paintz is pulled from fashion editorials, and that collectively they tell the story of the rise and fall of the rock. As she was telling me this, I realized that I had read the stories before, but I was just totally bored by it, so I forgot. I tried to hint to her that I wasn't interested in having the meaning of the work dictated to me, yet she persisted in trying to explain the show.
I mean, yeah, you don't have to. I don't necessarily. Yeah, I don't like to read the press release. But you also don't have to my own experience. But feel free to give me
As she started into her spiel, my eyes began to glaze over, and the work I started to see.
I didn't want to listen to it.
Even Barce herself felt like she was going to vomit when she realized how stupid the show was, which is maybe why she was so insistent on not letting me have a critical experience with the work.
Yeah, I think that a lot of us the association with like source material are like this is like insert any figure into that and it would make sense. I don't know, this one was struck me. Just because it felt like very honestly this is like I mean, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it just felt like a very smart and knowing gesture to it. That I guess the rest of on first glance isn't like I mean I guess the danger is feeling like your high school senior art project where you take a magazine ad and then just paint it. Which is why this one, like, there's a level of sophistication in this one. Like, the question is whether it transcends the source material. Which I think this one definitely does.
I could feel the eyes of the curator watching us as we walked around the gallery, so we decided to retreat to a nearby cafe.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty disappointing show except for that one piece, and I'm almost positive that the commentary on the history of modern painting is unintentional. Because the rest of the paintings are just really cliche. They're cliche on purpose, but they don't actually transcend. They're not bringing something else to it. Especially because cliche. It's already been 60 or 70 years. Beginning with Warhol and Duchamp and all these people already taking mass consumer images and trying to aestheticize them in the right context. Like that itself is already a cliche. So you're not really I think you had a fluke in making that into a spread, which I think is kind of a brilliant painting. Takes up the beginning and end of modernism. These Courbet's, the what he belonged and then Barnett Zips, Longmans, which is kind of like one of the final gestures of painting. He was considered one of the first people to do like pure abstraction. Abstracting the picture to the point where it wasn't even actually considered abstraction. Because to abstract something means to alter an image that exists, so you are creating an abstraction versus that is just a pure image. It is a form. It is a line that refers to other things. It's not an abstract. It's not guitar player, Newman is just making an image, which is different from abstraction, but it is not a representation. There's also kind of like a realishness, right? Because it's the censored part. You're denying us. There's a really sophisticated reading that you could have of this painting, which is like the denial of modernism. The denial of our access into modernism. That's actually kind of a brilliant, as I'm talking about this, it's like...
Milk in my coffee.
Yeah, so it's the denial of the access to modernism. It's a self-denial of the access to modernism and the access to l'origine du monde, which was a revolutionary painting, and was a revolutionary break within the tradition of painting. And by putting the strip there and censoring the bit of that painting, which was revolutionary, which is like the pubic hair and the full realism of the female nude, by putting that strip there and censoring that, you're blocking yourself off from the revolutionary aspect of that painting, but you're also doing it in this unknowing way. So it is like a memory hole. It's a memory hole, and that white strip is a memory hole of modernism. But yet, it like understands that modernism is something that is there. That that's kind of a painting that exists and that only is possible after modernism. And yet it can't recognize its own indebtedness to the tradition. You can pick apart any of those paintings and start to find it. Because of course, also advertising images are also indebted to in much more diffuse is what like John Berger talks about in Ways of Seeing.
The oil painting and the publicity have much of it. We only fail to see this because we think of one as fine art and the other as
like the image of the nude. And the difference between nude and nakedness, right? The thing that Courbet's l'origine du monde is nakedness. It's not the nude. It's not some idealized goddess figure that is a new, perfect, ideal female form, but it is naked, and all of the human vulgarities and profanities not in the sense of swear words, but the profane ungodly is present in Rosemary. Jordan Barker is saying,
That was it. That was a short episode. Okay. 13.
Don't judge the book. It is real.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to
Stupid
Stupid
AI story.
Story. Post-apocalyptic system. So I went to go see some art a couple of weeks ago, and I ran into a friend of mine, and she gave me this amazing phrase, which I think perfectly encapsulates a certain trend that we're seeing right now in art. And that phrase is post-apocalyptic sincerity. And what I take that to mean is that the end of the world already happened. The future is not coming. So artists, younger artists, and by young I mean people under 40, millennials, and zoomers, are returning to naive, sincere form of art making. And so most of these artists are retreating back to a time when they still felt optimistic. And that was when these artists were in high school. You know, before they went to art school, before their professors told them that the art that they were making was bad, that everything they knew about art was wrong. And they've kind of gone out into the real world and they found that for some reason the things that their professors taught them no longer make sense. And so they're making the kinds of art that they would have made in high school. There was the Kai Christensen Knowles show where he's kind of going back to these video game and anime inspired stuff that had sort of invigorated him originally when he was in high school. There's someone like Hannah Torrance, she's going back and painting pictures of fashion editorials, which is exactly the kind of thing that we see in high school art shows and things like that. And then there's the dime square scene of naive poetry and theater and this kind of fringe high school theater kid party scene. What does this mean? This kind of retreat? I don't think it's particularly good. I don't think it's necessarily any worse than the kind of over academicized conceptual practices that we were seeing in the decades prior, or something like zombie formalism, which was one of the moments that kind of preceded the moment that we're in now. And so then the natural kind of question is, well, what kind of art should artists be making? I don't think that that's something that I can necessarily answer. But there is something that I've been thinking about, which is that there's a kind of irony that we have so many masters of fine art out there and so few masterpieces. Right? I don't think people even actually aspire to make masterpieces anymore. Which is really unfortunate. But also I don't know if it's possible. That doesn't mean that artists shouldn't try. I mean, I think that we as artists should aspire to make art which can stand up with the greatest achievements that humanity has ever produced. We should try to make art that can stand up with Michelangelo's name, that can stand up to a Caravaggio, that can stand up to Mozart and Beethoven, that can stand up to Monet and Matisse, that can stand up to a Tarkovsky film, that can stand up to a Eisenstein film, that can stand side by side with the greatest achievements that humanity has ever produced in the aesthetic realm. I don't think that there are very many artists doing that today, and I don't think that there are very many artists who even imagine such a thing to be possible. And they might be right. It's a very difficult time to make. I mean, it's actually an easy time to become an artist. I think that you can kind of just churn out whatever
libidinally charged kind of teenage stirrings might be within you, and you can objectify that, and that might be enough to get you some attention and maybe even a career. But I think it's a difficult time to make great art. And in my own moments of grandiose self-delusion, I imagine that if I lived in a time in which it were possible to make art, that I would have been a great artist. And yet I'm kind of reduced to complaining about art on the internet, because that's the only thing that feels like it has some kind of purchase, that feels like it's able to break through in some way. I'm attempting to be critical of the practice of art and of bourgeois society, because after all, we would say, or Marxists would say, that art is bourgeois ideology. And yet it's this kind of, there's a tension between a practice bound up with bourgeois ideology that nonetheless, in its best efforts, must imagine something that can escape bourgeois ideology. And then modernism reckoned with this pretty straightforwardly. And that's not to say that I'm advocating for kind of neo-modernism. I think that's what a lot of people assume that I want. I don't think that modernism was necessarily a good thing. Modernism was a symptom of a crisis within society. And that modernism only existed because society failed to transform itself. That modernism was the kind of neurotic symptom of a society in crisis. And so, you know, what is one to do? I mean, I want to destroy art. I wish I didn't have to do it. I want to destroy art because I think that we ought to live in a society in which art is no longer needed. Of course, you can't just simply destroy art and that will produce a new society. I want to destroy the need for art. And I want artists to recognize their own complacency with the system of capitalism, of bourgeois society, that their practices, the majority of practices of art are merely affirmative of the practice of art and affirmative of society as it exists. Now that's not to say that you should be making kind of activist art. You shouldn't be making art about Gaza or something like that, because that's just going to end up in bad art. So ultimately, I don't know what to do. And like I said, that has left me just sort of reduced to complaining about art on the internet. And that's where this whole thing scorned by muses came from. You know, only those scorn the muses who feel they have been scorned by them. I feel I've been scorned by the muses. That it seems impossible to make art. It seems impossible to make great art. And if you're not aspiring to make great art, if you're not aspiring to make the kinds of art I was talking about earlier, that can stand up with the greatest achievements that humanity has ever produced, then it doesn't feel worth giving, honestly. And it seems like that kind of art is closing its doors. So I scorn the muses back, right? I have been scorned by the muses, so I scorn them back. And maybe that's the best thing to do. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Hi guys.
Well, you want to know what I think? You want to know
For
what I
our
think?
Patreon subscribers, and that's office hours. So beginning this week on Wednesday evening from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern, we'll have 4 available slots, 30 minutes each, in which you will be able to a Zoom call and talk to me about art, about politics, about philosophy, about whatever. You know, you're a young artist and you want me to look at your art and tell you what I think. I'm happy So yeah, I'm opening this up. If people want to have discussions and open a dialogue with me, that's what we're going to do. So this is only going to be available for Patreon subscribers. Just shoot me a DM on Patreon, and I'll put you the first 4 people who sign up. I'll do 4 30-minute slots. Yeah, I'll see you out there on Zoom, people.
Okay, why does it jump to 18? 13, where's 14? Let's go to 16, I want to see 14. I want to see if you come out of your nihilistic hole. 14. I think I listened to this one too.
Welcome to episode 14.
He keeps going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. He can't get out.
What does it mean to
He's
be a
never
master?
gonna make it out of the forever.
I got an email from these NFA.
Artistic dilemma.
It says, Dear Yearbook Community Team, I hope this email finds you well. Your recent commentary about a broad variety of topics ranging from a series of missives to writing MFA art to your most recent statements about beauty and the state of contemporary art in our last video has piqued the interest of myself and my fellow MFA views. Because of your repeated targeted comments against the MFA experience and in the interest of opening a dialogue to bridge the perceptual gap we see growing, I would like to extend an invitation to you to come to our thesis exhibition, Rosetta up until 4:22 in whatever
That doesn't sound good.
fit. I understand that typically critics try to refrain from engaging specifically about
Gauntlet has been cast now.
a dialogue with some soon-to-be post-MFA students. If this sounds interesting to you, come by and see what some current MFAs are making and thinking about, and let's compare notes. Sincerely, Martin Miller. We accepted Martin's invitation,
I'm not gonna end well.
and we took a car across town to visit him and his 100 classmates.
Okay. What is next?
Okay, well, maybe, I don't know, you want to talk about art? Feels weird, like, talking about the art. It's like, I don't know, because then it's just going to become like a trend or something, right? I mean, we could do that if you want to do that, but I don't know how, like, what's your...
We spent 3 years getting
Oh, you invited him. Yeah, you invited him. What did you think he was gonna do?
They were afraid
Now you're getting cold feet?
Their egos couldn't handle it. So I tried a different tack.
I guess I can, like, maybe restate some of the things that maybe prompted you to reach out to me, and that might be something that you can just talk a little bit.
So they're largely
What about when I said that there's some fine art and some few masterpieces, there's a kind of hierarchy so few masterpieces.
A bit of that, I question the idea of a masterpiece. Right now, a lot of that is like representation of the
Yeah.
we're in a completely different time right now.
You know, what does it mean to be a master of fine art? Right, that like you make a masterpiece so that you can be accepted into the guild of master craftspeople. And I mean, obviously, I guess the current state of contemporary art is not one in which like craft. I mean, there are certain areas in which people are interested in craft, but it's not about like craft. It's actually in this very strange period where, like you were just saying, it's like in here we have painting, we have conceptual art, we have photography, we have all these different disciplines, which are, you know, being presented together. And I think one would imagine that you are asking them to be considered within the same conversation. So what is that conversation?
I mean, I always kind of like read that as simply like a diversity of voices. We know so much, we see so much perspective in those things. What can we offer each other in terms of like what we're thinking,
Oh boy.
where we're coming from, our personal history, what we're reading, it kind of comes together in spaces like that.
So the substance of the conversation doesn't matter. It's just about having as many people speaking as possible.
Or if we don't make in similar ways, we don't think in similar ways.
I don't know your friend who went away here. I'm curious to hear this.
Here, especially. Yeah. And it's like I'm doing like photography, rubbing and printmaking techniques, painting. So I guess I'm just trying to like understand what your like is like. Do you mean like chiseling away? I guess I'm just.
The analogy that I was is like guild, right? Like you're a hat maker, or you're a furniture maker, or you're a stonemason. These are all crafts.
They don't want to hear that. They're painters. They're
Before you can
artists.
be a master craftsman, and like you would make a masterpiece to present to the guild, and they would look at it and say, okay, you can be accepted into this guild because you have achieved the necessary like artisanal skill to be able to execute at the level of a master. And obviously, like the MFA system as it exists today is not like a guild craft system. I mean, maybe there are these sort of like atelier schools where it's like, okay, you actually do make a masterpiece. And so I guess the question is, if that's not the criteria to be considered a master. And we are being considered, like you are now about to become masters of fine art. What does that mean?
He's telling you you're not special. You're not special anymore.
Anthony, who stood there silently dissociated, could do nothing but laugh nervously in response to my question. The obvious source of his laughter is that he knows it's ridiculous to call himself a master. Then, suddenly, a young woman emerged from the shadows to speak the first intelligent words I had heard all morning.
Whoops.
I think it's a complicated problem, right? Because when you're making the craft or fine art, that's like this if you take like historians like the artist as the first kind of setting, painting, apart from other types of arts, right? And then you have like Reynolds writing in England in the 1600s with the founding of the Royal Academy. And so you have this real intense effort in Europe to differentiate fine arts from fine arts as a liberal art, right? From the crafts, right? And so Reynolds is putting painting in with the liberal arts. And so we're inheritors of a history of fine arts as something distinct from the craft, right? And you can kind of see that logical end roll out from anything from art, right? And then that kind of gets us where we are now, where the question of like what you learn in a master's program is not necessarily, and
What are you?
in my eyes, the master's of fine art is a pragmatic and then there's like a kind of utopic cultivate community and like conversations, right? And that's a hope that is held against the fact that it's an institution that you're paying money for.
Yeah, so then I guess what would be towards what end, and maybe the conversations in the community isn't it in itself, but towards what end do you hope to cultivate a conversation in the community?
Personally, I think that that's
Oh boy, there I go. I am no master at my craft.
for people you can talk to, right? Like,
Pretty bleak. Then you have to spend $50,000 a year to find people. Or $50,000 for 3 years.
it's like 30,000. I think that you can look at it differently. I think you can be spending $800 a month on a studio, also looking for community that's not right. And the point is to just like figure out how to spend as little money as possible, I think, and find the people who want to have conversations that are exciting. The fact that
Why shouldn't you be able to spend as much money as
right,
you want?
once art has separated itself from craft and it's a fine arts tradition, suddenly medium specificity doesn't matter anymore.
Just
So
say
what
you're
is
trying to
unified
find
art,
community.
right? And so I think one answer to that people have been trying is an ideology, is like, let's read all the same texts and we'll be a part of the same conversation. But the problem with that is, if you are our age and you go to school as an 18-year-old and suddenly you're being taught that these texts are simple, or critical about something you haven't already felt, right? Then you have a problem, and I think that that is actually what caused a lot of the reaction against people who are like good journalism or
Oh boy, terrible, terrible,
people
terrible.
felt like they're out of the conversation inside of universities, right? They're being taught things that aren't relevant or they don't care about, and now want to reject them.
Yeah. I feel like what
Who says what is irrelevant and is relevant?
what inherited from the traditional art and from the traditional thought is a rejection of modernity, a rejection of like the Enlightenment and modernity and all these kinds of things without understanding it as such. They just think that this is how you're supposed to think. That the like historical specificity of that rejection, which like Foucault and all these people, they just rejected nothing.
I see what you're saying, and I see the problem with that. I think there are problems with the general reaction to institutions or to a certain school of thought, right? Like Duluth is one of my favorite writers. His book on bacon is like a masterpiece. And I think
We'll
so I
have to
think
touch up all these.
talking past
Hey Joshua, just when you thought the dragon couldn't work anymore, we can enter the highlights. Unless those highlights were always there.
but it's also a
I haven't touched
right? And so
the
to
Qilin at all, so they were there. I don't think I will be adding anything more to it. Just trying to do the vehicle bodies at this time. Unless I deem it necessary after everything's all said and done to add anything more, I'd probably leave it as is, since you can spend
We were leaving to grab coffee.
an unlimited amount of time just trying to make it as perfect as you can, and it's that is just a logical pursuit. What is perfection? Right now, it's just adding the edges to these bodies, these vehicles. So I don't know if you want to say outline. I'm trying to. Oh, by the way, yes, I'm doing well. I guess it's because the dragon is mostly out of frame. Sometimes I don't always get a good look at it. That's all right. No, I'm just explaining that I have not added anything new to it, and giving you a little bit more information than you probably asked for. Yeah. They only, I think the details only add a little bit more information for the eye and mind to latch onto to keep your attention, but I don't know, maybe it shows a certain level of sophistication. But anyways, I hope you're doing well and your day is going good.
You have to present something final, and you have to present it to the public in a way that's saleable, or it's yeah, in the studio, constantly shifting. Maybe something you thought was finished becomes unfinished when you make something else. So it's just an open fire, and you're constantly writing. But the demands of the artwork.
Speak away, nothing wrong with talking. And
I people bring that up because there's so
seeing your work, you focus a lot on detail. I've been alright, thanks. Yeah, a lot of my work is very detailed, I guess you can say.
Sitting here waiting for opportunity to walk in the door. It's kind of, I mean, that's not even a benefit. That's just like, for someone to come in and say.
It's hard to get away from that detail.
Yeah, it's just like
This is gallery and we're going to be conference.
I should try and do a painting that is not so detailed.
yeah, it's like well actually it was just like
Even more, even more simplistic.
gallery is opportunity. It's like time to go. It might never be time to go.
Okay.
So why not just do it?
Oh, I'm not even in frame anymore. It's because I'm moving across.
Not
Trying to add these outlines.
it's like the cohort in the space is like the biggest number one for me. Can't speak for everybody. Yeah, I would say that I've noticed since the year that the art has sort of shifted, and it's only like in the 3-year period that I've sort of noticed that.
What's been changed?
I think it's a change that isn't exclusive to this project. I think it's a change in our world or just art in general.
It's not like I can't like perceive some like like millennial versus like Gen Z like differences happening.
Right, I keep screwing this up. It's like I'm coming back with the dark color. Gosh. Or not. Maybe just leave it as it. Okay.
Like I went to school in LA, so like in LA we had like the lineages of like conceptual, and my teacher was Larry Pittman, and he worked at a time when was like proposing
So in like in painting, like something to respond to, and like I don't know, like we've been talking so much about like all the
Gosh, come on.
like
Can't get my lines straight.
maybe the headlines are like
Okay, we got them.
tension,
Got
but like
them. Who else is not
so then I
outlined
was
very
like
well?
2014, like learning about contemporary art and like zombie formalism was like the conversation about abstract painting, you know. So it's like that then produces like how do you think about process-based abstraction in like a way that's not this. I think we could have a different relationship with history than like our teachers could, who have like had to.
So how would you describe then the kind of difference between the, I guess, millennial reception about history versus the millennial teachers?
I feel like we're like further away from it. You know? I feel that's what I said before. I can't think of anything else though.
But do you think that distance is a productive distance? Or do you think that it potentially is a problem?
Or you know, like in this way, how
Okay, thank you.
Japanese parents looked at like American vintage clothing and then like put their rendition of it, and then like Japanese Americana. So it's like we're constantly like filtering through this sort of like relationship with the historical figures of them. So it wouldn't be good to make decoding paintings again, or you know, at Reinhardt paintings again, or something like repeated the cycle, you know, but it's also not like heavy or something. So
It's, you're saying that shouldn't be the case. Or
I don't know, I guess I just don't think about it as much, you know.
what do you think?
I'm thinking about like my own like cycle. I think if I could be like carefree and excited and
Some of these lives on YouTube really catch a person off guard. I saw for the first time ever YouTube who was like
I feel like that was really
purposefully glitching or impeding his motions and words, and apparently it is a big thing with certain streamers. Huh, interesting. I'm not familiar with this, I guess, phenomenon, for lack of a better
and
word.
I've heard that conversation to other painters too.
I guess I would have to experience it to
For me
understand
personally. So then I found
what you're meaning.
different conversation.
Like, what kind of content are they, what kind of content are they creating? Like,
People have been talking about
are they just trying to be,
Justin seemed to not be
trying to be like a hybrid TikTok type thing?
He just wants to achieve a kind of Dionysian ecstasy in the studio, erupting into
It's not on YouTube, it's on TikTok, but let me see, how can I introduce or interject that into the YouTube space?
studio upstairs. Justin and Martin sported it.
And blew this already. Jeez, what a shaky line.
Anna was the Apollonian counterpart to Justin's Dionysianism. Rather than indulgent ecstasy, she seemed to be interested in ordering the world into discrete sites of meaning. Painting as a way of meaning making is something that interested me. But Anna and I had some disagreements about what meaning making means.
despair about being able to make meaning or feel meaning or have things be meaningful. Which is the despair often of like there's nothing more to do. Right? It feels like everything's been done, and if there's something new, then it's a fad that gets dropped over. And so the problem with making meaningful particulars, I think meaning only exists in a particular thing, right? And so a painting, for example,
Oh,
or
I have to go
art
check.
piece or
NPC screening? Oh, okay. I think I've heard of this before. I'm not sure if I've experienced it myself. I may have seen examples
You
of
said
it.
meaning. Well, I don't need to expand on what you mean, but I think you said that meaning only exists in a particular, or it can only be instantiated in a particular. But I feel like for
Okay,
meaning,
hold on a second, guys. I gotta pull this out of the
meaning,
oven.
it has to be kind of like the universal, right? That it might take form in a particular, but that in order for that particular instance of reality or whatever that you're congealing meaning into, there's like that has to be something beyond itself. You know, it has to mean something, or it has to mean something to people, right? It can't just be kind of
My sense is that right, because when we use the word meaning, there are a few ways to think about it. Like significance and importance, right? And there's this idea of subjective meaning that's like inside me. And then there's a thing logical, right? And I think art's realm of meaning is in different.
Okay, guys.
On the one hand, it
That's the apparent phrase. Yeah, I think I've heard it. Where people
I don't think
like
that
literally are trying to be like NPCs in a video game.
arrive at the painting and start
Um,
seeing what's there, and then start seeing what's built together, and then there's a kind of and you can bring in
I
things
kind of
like
get that as far as it being content, but live streaming content.
similar escape from history. Anna's answer is to
It seems very
against our reliance on narratives or abstract universals. She hopes to ground us in
very
transistor
involved.
particulars that can serve as guides to
But I
meaning.
guess if you're repeating like
Anything
the same things over and over,
is
like
that
who were you interacting with your
almost
chat
every other
as if you were an NPC?
like
in a
you can
game?
say that the meaning
So
is
you would have to
the-
have fixed
that what
phrases.
it means is what it means. Right? That like the meaning of a shoe is to contain the meaning of my bag is to hold my
Like, do you come up with those on the spot, or do you have
meaning of
like
painting is only that which we can put in. It doesn't have a sort of like deterministic, it's not determined by its function because it doesn't actually have a function. Right? It's this thing which doesn't really have a reason to be. At least after the break with right? After it's no longer the festival. And the whole like project of modernism, insofar as I understand it, is like trying to make meaning in a way that is specific as possible to the discipline. So that it shouldn't be reliant on anything outside of the painting itself for its meaning. And that's the only way in which it is truly meaning making, truly free, because otherwise its meaning is that it's an image or reference to something other than itself.
I know that narrative. I feel like, and I think it's like
okay, guys? I am going to stop. I have to stop the screen here. Regretfully, to do lunch. Not regretting that I have to do lunch, just regretting that I
that's what it is, right? Yes, but that's where you start.
For Greenberg, for example, which I'm sort of a Greenbergian to a certain degree, for him it's actually less about like representation and abstraction. It's about like flatness. That the flatness of the painting is the thing which is painting about. That a painting of a tree is actually also an abstraction, right? It's a representation of a tree, but it's abstract in what a tree actually is onto a flat plane that you create the illusion to.
Yeah, that's not
Because
good.
painting has been forced into that position, right? But it's, in a sense, not necessarily the best, not the painting.
Society and painting.
Oops. Hold on, you guys.
No, and I think flatness is overworked, you know, flat surfaces. Like,
Alright, guys. I just want to thank you all for joining me. Hold on a second, though. Flip this back up. Should I be consistent with my outline color or value? Inconsistent. There's a lot of inconsistencies here. Maybe that's okay though. This is just a prototype. If I do end up doing a series, as I was saying to the dude earlier, but yeah, I think we're making good headway. We got our double-decker bus pretty much done, I think. Hi, Zato. There's our guy, Zato. Yes. Mr. Z, what you up to? What you up to, Z-Cat? Psst, 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 psst. Yes, I have. My kawaii slippers. Hi, bud. What we doing? Hi. This is Zato. Z-A-T-O. Zato. Ow. And he's a polydactyl. Ow. Oh, my God. Dude, you don't pull. Jeez. You need to get those bad boys trimmed. Get those trimmed up, buddy. Anyways. Take it easy, Joshua. Hey, Mr. Flowers. Yep, that's one of my cats. That's Zato. And he loves to put his claws in my knees. Anyways, that's going to be it for today. Well, this session. I might come back on later on. So we'll probably have 3 sessions today. But thank you, Mr. Flowers, Joshua Harvey, Orphe Polanco, The Glitch, Hearts Dragon, The Dude 174. Who else do we have here? CRPG Dungeons and Dragons Nights and Robloxers. That is one hard word to say. Robloxers. All right, y'all. Thanks for the likes. Appreciate y'all coming through, saying hello and chatting, hanging out, all the good stuff. Listening to some of my, well, I wasn't really ranting, but yep, just whatever I'm spewing. All right, guys. Hope y'all have a good day or evening wherever you're at. Looks like I don't know if we're gonna get some storms or what. But the wind's picked up and oh, the sun's coming back. Okay. All right, guys. Till next time. Have a wonderful day. Come on, yo. Are you gonna be able to stop? There we go. Gotta get that set up. All right, guys. Till next time. Bye for now.